Hello again, fellow BeachBum traders. Thank you for joining us for part one of our weekly trading game plan for the trading week of June 3rd through June 7th, where we'll try to help you make money trading in June of 2024. So thank you again for joining us for part one of our weekly trading game plan for June 3rd through June 7th. So let's get started. So here's our Google document with our notes for part one of our weekly trading game plan for the trading week of June 3rd through June 7th. We keep our notes in publicly accessible Google documents. You can find a direct link to this Google document in the description box below. Our notes documents contain links to bonus videos, the tools and resources we use to do our market analysis, come up with our trade strategies, trade ideas for the trading week. We store all of our notes in a publicly accessible Google Drive folder, so you can refer back to the notes from this week as well as notes from previous weekly trading game plans. And again, you can find a direct link to that Google Drive folder in the description box below. Welcome, Gerald Fitz, Easy Mike. Thank you for joining us. The Ricky Khan, good morning. Hope you all are doing well. Hope you had a great shortened trading week. So we'll get started and we'll look at how the markets ended up on Friday. We'll see we had a major U-turn on Friday. It was quite interesting. NASDAQ and S&P were down until, and the Dow was down as well until just after noon. So it looks like they had the sell in May algorithms turned on in the first half of the day, and then they flipped on the buy algorithms for the second half of the day. And so we got this major U-turn. And NASDAQ ended up just slightly negative, S&P 0.8% positive. So we see that big surge at the end of the close for the S&P and a big surge again in the Dow. So again, quite an interesting U-turn of a day. We ended up with 67% advancing, about 30% declining, got 60% new highs, 40% new lows, 58% above their 50-day, 41% below, 66% above their 200-day, 34% below. And so you can see it was bullish or bearish in the morning, bullish in the afternoon, and ended up overall bullish. It's interesting as well. So the Mag 7s, it looked like there was a lot of profit taking in the morning in the Mag 7s. We'll talk about enterprise software, software as a service being a major downside pressure. But again, they seem to buy the dip in all of those towards the end of the day, and so those all recovered. Apple was generally green through the day. Other sectors, industrials and financials, were negative, and they turned positive, so we ended up, as you can see, almost all in the green. Welcome, Balu Dog. Thank you for joining us. Hope you're doing well. So we see Dow closes more than 570 points higher to post the best day in 2024. McDonald's problems, defying sell in May and go away. So we'll check and we'll see, how did that sell in May and go away adage play out this year? Live elections could aid summer rally. China food security law comes into force. S&P spikes in final 20 minutes. See, oil is now below 78, so we'll see it tested 80, got rejected, bounced back down. So again, resistance at 80, probably support around 75. Natural gas, again, generally trending upwards, but it did have a slight correction. Gold, we see now it's broken down below 2350, so 2350 is pretty much a resistance. We'll see if it heads down to 2300. Again, we see the futures on the Dow are up, S&P is up, NASDAQ slightly down, Russell significantly up. See, most of the currencies, the yen continues to be weak against the dollar. See, Bitcoin's now at 67,000. Saw bond yields were pretty volatile, but have retraced significantly. We're now down around 4.5, 4.6. Still have slight inversion between the 5 and 10s, but again, we see a pretty significant retracement on Friday, and bonds again been pretty volatile. So let's look at the major indices, and then we'll look at the breakdown of the technology components. Just a quick reminder, you can also find these links in our notes documents as well as in the screeners tab in our ETFs and our watch list Google Sheets. Look at all the major components. So we see that double top in the Dow, rolled over, came down to the support trend line, bounced up. Now it looks like it almost tested that long-term moving average. That'll provide some level of resistance. We've got this lower trend providing support. IWM bounced off that upper trend line, trended down, got support from the moving average, bounced up. So again, expect support from that moving average, resistance from this upper trend line. Qs, see it just rolled over, long tail, so that tail then got rejected pretty promptly and it bounced back up. Still some room below for its longer term moving average. So eventually I think we'll have to see a test of that moving average, but you see it is trending upward. S&P again rejected off the upper trend line, came down, looks like it about tested that lower trend line, the longer term moving average, bounced back up again, long tail wick. So pretty strong buy the dip mentality in both the SPY and the Qs. We look at a breakdown of the technology components. And we see ARK-K continues to be weak, not really going anywhere. It's now below its lower trend line, so now it's in a descending trend. So again, ARK-K has been generally weak. It wicked down below its previous low, recovered slightly, so that's providing some level of support. But again, the trend in ARK-K generally down. It's been going down for a while. The inverse ETF on ARK-K is SARK, S-A-R-K. So I think there's more potential downside with ARK-K. FANG-U, which is the FANG stocks, we see it tested that upper trend line, rejected, came down, wicked down below that, essentially a pivot point, got wicked down to the moving average, buy the dip, pretty strong buy the dip mentality right back up to that pivot point. So we'll see if that pivot point holds and they buy the dip back up to the upper trend line, or if it's trending downward at this point. Biotechs, again, not as strong, generally weak. It's been testing that upper trend line, getting rejected. It's very close to that moving average, trading below the moving average. It's got a little bit of support, but forming a wedge at this point. Again, generally pretty weak. See semiconductors made a double top, so didn't quite make that previous high. Got rejected, came back down. Again, long tail wick. So again, this is almost solely strength in NVIDIA. Broad technology, a little bit weaker. Again, rejected off their upper trend line, broke down below the pivot point, wicked down, all the way down below the moving average, then recovered. So it's again got a positive convexity in the moving average. So that will provide some level of support. Pivot point providing some resistance. And overall, the Qs, see it wicked right down to that moving average, buy the dip, very quickly recovered. We'll see if we get continued testing of that moving average. But again, a positive convexity moving up the moving average. So the overall trend in the Qs is still up. So I hope that all helps. Welcome, Alan Krantz. Thank you for joining us. Hope you all are doing well. So let me grab a quick drink and we'll go through the group, sectors, industries. Just a quick reminder, none of our content should be considered financial advice. We're not financial advisors. All of our content is for education and entertainment purposes only. So we look at the groups and the sectors, the groups tab in FinBiz. So here's the sector breakdown. So we see for Friday, even though we saw that rebound in technology, etc., the strongest sectors were energy, real estate, utilities, and defensive. So generally a pretty defensive bent on Friday. And we got that rebound in real estate due to the bond yields moving down. So technology ended up being the weakest sector for the week. Again, energy, utilities, real estate, financials, the weakest sectors, healthcare, industrials, and technology. So again, a negative sector rotation out of technology in general for the week. For the month, however, technology was the top performer. Again, I think that's mostly driven by NVIDIA and the AI FOMO related to NVIDIA. But otherwise, we've got utilities, real estate, and we see that rotation into energy that we've been looking for a while. So for the quarter, again, we're seeing a recovery in real estate slowly. Technology, relatively weak for the quarter. Utilities and energy continue to be strong. Look at the industries. So we've got some energy, some REITs, some real estate, more energy. So the weakest sector, we've got some materials. So we see a slight retracement correction, gold, silver. We'll see that in the futures, aluminum. Solar continues to be pretty volatile. Computer hardware, again, Dell had disappointing guidance, so computer hardware negative. Also software, we'll see. So for the week, solar was positive, energy, uranium positive, aluminum, coal, some of the REITs, some of the banks, gold positive for the week, steel about even, airline slightly negative, getting some issues with American, I believe. Software applications, so again, enterprise software driven by a CRM. Salesforce came out again with a weak guidance, even though they beat, and that kind of caused a negative reaction in most of the enterprise software. Software as a service. So for the month, solar positive, uranium nicely positive, silver pretty strong, gold less so than silver, copper strong. Again, we'll see rollovers in gold, silver, copper. Some REITs negative, etc. So Easy Mike's pointing out, looking, outside to emerging markets, other country ETFs. So again, if you remind me when we get to our ETFs of any specific countries you'd like to look at, we have a number of non-US ETFs and how you can play those. So we'll look at the economic data from last week, the upcoming economic data. Let me grab a drink. We'll go over my highlight notes, and then we'll look again at the upcoming economic data. Okay, Monday was Memorial Day, so we hope you all had a great long Memorial Day holiday weekend, family and friends. Hope you had a great time. So we didn't have a whole lot Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We got jobless claims data, GDP data. Jobless claims came in slightly less than expected. Continuing claims, although a little bit more than previous. Initial claims a little higher than expected and higher than previous. The average is now up a little bit. So again, just very slightly weakening in the job front, but again, not significant where the Fed needs to cut anytime soon, worrying about the job market. GDP data came in slightly light, slightly weaker than expected, but still positive. So again, no fear of recession. Again, no reason that the Fed needs to cut anytime soon. PCE prices a little less than expected. So again, some inflationary data, and we'll see that again on Friday. Real consumer spending, so spending less than expected. So consumers still positively spending, but a little weaker than expected, down from the previous. On Friday, we got PCE data, again, a little bit lighter than expected, so that's a positive inflationary trend. Year on year, still stable at 2.8, so still relatively high. Personal income, as expected. Personal spending, again, a little less than expected. Personal consumption was actually negative, so month on month. So again, consumers very slowly starting to spend a little bit less. We heard in some of the retailers, they're being a little more discerning. They're being impacted by the high prices. So a number of retailers are warning that their guidance may not be as good as previous as consumers pull back, look for more value, etc. So I think we'll see future weakness in some of the retailers. So if we look at the rest of the data from last week, again, Monday was Memorial Day. Still got Fed officials talking. House prices down a little bit. So that's positive for the housing market. Bond auctions a little weak. M2 money supply up. Mortgage rates up a little bit. Get more Fed officials, more bond auctions. Beige book didn't really have much of an impact. Crude oil stocks down quite a bit, although again we saw oil retraced. I think mostly that's due to not anything new happening with the conflict in the Middle East. We talked about GDP and jobs data from Thursday. Pending home sales very negative. So again, not a whole lot of existing home sales going on. Natural gas inventory was up, although again, we see the general trend in natural gas has been up, got some small correction there. Fed balance sheet slowly coming down. Talked about PCE data, oil rigs slightly down, total rigs flat. So again, not any change in the oil supply. I believe there's an OPEC meeting. We'll see. Let's go to next week. Yeah, OPEC meeting is tomorrow. We'll hear if there's any changes in their production schedule coming out of OPEC. Obviously, that could impact the price of oil. Construction spending, ISM data on Monday, minor impact. Tuesday, durable goods, JOLTS. So JOLTS is important on Tuesday. We'll see if the ratio of open jobs comes down any. Again, this is something the Fed has tended to watch more recently to see if the supply demand of the jobs market's coming more in balance. Mortgage rates, more ISM. So again, some impact. Typical oil inventories. We get job cuts, jobless claims on Thursday. So again, we'll see if there's any further weakening in the jobs market. And then Friday, we get non-farm payroll. So again, this will be very important to see if the unemployment rate is going up. I've heard comments, here it says the unemployment rate previous is 3.9. I guess Kramer and others are saying the Fed's not going to move, not going to make any cuts until the unemployment rate breaches 4%. So again, we'll see if the unemployment rate breaches that 4% level, and if that changes the probability of and time frame for Fed cuts anytime soon. So again, lots of important economic data this week. We'll see if that increases volatility. Haven't had a whole lot of volatility. VIX still 14 or so. Just really not a lot of fear in the market. We've still got some earnings coming up, but I believe the vast majority of the major companies have reported. Got some 3D printers, some software. So again, I'd highly recommend you go through, it's lightening up, CrowdStrike. So that's a SaaS, a security company, some retailers. So again, I'd highly recommend you go through the earnings calendar to see anything that may impact your trading. Sectors that you hold or are looking to trade stocks in. Just be aware of the earnings calendar. As you've seen, it's not just their earnings, but their forward guidance. Any softness, companies getting severely punished. Expectations are extremely high, particularly in the AI FOMO stocks, the Mag 7s, etc. And any of those related stocks, again, the expectations, we saw that with Dell too, MongoDB. Expectations are so extremely high. If there's any weakness in the now or in the future, they could be severely punished. So again, protect your profits, trade accordingly. You can again hear how we trade around earnings via the link to our video in the notes. Again, the next Fed meeting is June 11-12. So next week, when we get a dot plot and SEP from the Fed on the 11th and 12th. So again, next week, we'll look at the probability for any kind of a change in stance in the Fed. I personally don't expect any change, but we'll look at the probabilities next week going forward. And again, we'll get a new dot plot. So I think that will have a major impact as to when are they projecting cuts now. And I think we're going to see fewer cuts, higher for longer, fewer cuts pushed out more. So. Okay, let me grab a drink and we'll go to the market screen in Webull. Welcome, Hamster1. Thank you for joining us. Hope you're doing well. Just a quick reminder, if you're not already using Webull, they have a number of rewards that you can get for opening and funding an account Webull. If you fund your account with 25K or more, you get up to 75 free fractional shares of stock. Less than 25K, you get 20 free fractional shares of stock. You can also see they're offering 1.5% cash bonus if you transfer your investments to Webull, and they're offering a 3.5% matching bonus on transfers to an IRA. So as you can see, we use Webull for our market analysis, our due diligence, the majority of our trading. So if you're not already using Webull, we would highly recommend it. And if you'd use our affiliate link in the description box below, we would appreciate it. And you can also help support our BeachBum trading community, which again, we greatly appreciate. I'm using the market screen of the online browser version of Webull. So here we can see the histogram of advancers and decliners from Friday. So we see we ended up with, 3,600 advancers, 2,100 decliners. Percentage of advancement was very small, decline very small. So again, we saw that major U-turn, although the majority of advancers and decliners was again relatively small. This is interesting. We see this typical inflow in the NYSE early in the day, but past couple weeks we'd seen an inflow into the NASDAQ, and then we see this week we get this dramatic outflow out of the NASDAQ. So again, probably a lot of profit taking in the Mag 7s and enterprise software as a service, the cloud services. So again, even though the NASDAQ ended up only slightly, slightly positive, we see a major outflow out of the NASDAQ. So again, under the covers, a lot of weakness in technology. Again, enterprise software as a service, cloud, so areas to watch out for. Again, you can see the earnings calendar, near-term earnings calendar in the calendar section in the market screen in Webull, so you can keep an eye on who's reporting soon. So here's another software company, software services, consulting type company, SAIC, NNDM, it's a popular 3D printer, GitLab. So if we look at the best performing industries for the week, see uranium, again, some real estate, renewable energy, some solar, some retailers. Again, retailers, the Gap, very positive. Others, very negative. Chewy actually came out positive. Coal, so energy, oil, utilities, some apparel. Again, semiconductors, mostly NVIDIA related. Oil, positive. Look at ETFs. So right now we've got up on Dow, that's probably mid caps. Up on the Dow. Again, mid caps looks like up on the S&P. Negative on the or pretty flat on the short, so not a lot of strength in the NASDAQ. So again, looks like there's some weakness, generally in the NASDAQ and technology. Short on Bitcoin, short on the VIX. I think up on the Russell, up on small caps. So that's a negative on the inverse in Europe. We'll talk about EPV tomorrow. So industries, airlines positive. Oil, healthcare, utilities and energy positive, real estate positive. Technology, again, mostly negative. Basic materials, mostly positive. Cyclicals positive. Defensives positive. Commodity-wise, platinum, pretty positive, although we'll see these rolled over as well, just like gold and silver. $25 plus, zero coupons, positive, preferreds, positive, government. Let's go and look at the futures. Welcome, Walter Lyons. Thank you for joining us. Hope you're doing well. Just a quick reminder, you can also now trade futures in Webull, and you can get more information about trading futures in Webull via that link to the details in our Discord. So if I go to the futures in FinViz, so again, we see that, major drop and then strong recovery, particularly in the Dow, a little less so in the S&P. And again, that long tail wick in the NASDAQ ended up in kind of a doji. So again, now we've got kind of an indecision in the NASDAQ. So a little bit weaker, got, plenty of downside. Looks like it wicked down, to kind of fill that gap. So we'll see if that gap below in the NASDAQ fills in more. Less so of a bounce in the Russell. See the Nikkei also bounced. Euro stocks bounced after, again, kind of making a bottom. DAX. Again, VIX has been generally pretty weak. We didn't really get a lot of fear. Peaked out just over 14s, come back below 14. Looks like it's trending down. So again, downside volatility. Oil, again, we saw it rejected off at 80, trending down. So we'll see if it tests, the 75, 76 level. Again, natural gas was trending up. Looks like it rolled over. Looks like we've got a doji there. Might be bottoming at that point, but strong upward trend in general. Again, gold just broke slightly below 2350, so we've got some resistance at 2350. Although again, looks like strong consolidations, kind of barcoding in that area. So we'll see if it that 2350 resistance holds, or if it breaks back up. If it heads back down, I think we'll get a retest of 2300. Similarly with silver, broke slightly above 3200 or 32, got rejected, trending back down. Now it's 3050 is a support level. So we'll see if that provides support again, it bounces back up, or if it breaks down below 3050 and retests the 30 level. So again, platinum and palladium, much stronger reversal. Platinum trending down as well. Copper, again, rolled over, trending down. Probably get some support there. A lot of the commodities rolled over. Corn, oats, wheat finally looks like it peaked out, rolled over. Orange juice, again, peaked. Has pretty strong reversal. Although I still don't have an ETF to short OJ. Lumber, downtrending. So again, a lot of the commodities are trending down now. Bonds, again, been pretty volatile. So we saw that, downward move, strong bounce back up. So again, not really, going anywhere, just kind of oscillating based on the various economic news, bond auctions, etc. So we did see that strong bounce gap on Friday. We'll see. We'll probably get a correction and, fill in those gaps at some point. Dollar's been pretty, stable between 104 and 105 DXY. Again, yen has been very weak. I saw the BOJ put trillions more in intervention again the past month. Doesn't seem to hold, so we'll see if what it takes for the yen to recover. Several of the others have recovered, kind of stabilizing. Euro, pound, Swiss franc rebounded. Aussie and Kiwi pretty stable. So I hope that all helps. Okay, let me grab a drink and we'll look at our ETFs Google Sheet. Just a quick reminder, as we identify opportunities to long or short any kind of idea, commodity, index, topic, etc., then we can jump over to our ETFs Google Sheet and find some ETFs to trade that long or short trade idea. And you can get 24/7 access to our ETFs Google Sheet as well as our other Google Sheets, like our dividend payers, our options, our covered calls, and puts ROIC Google Sheets, etc., all by joining our Patreon. So if anybody else in the chat has particular topics, commodities, etc., that you want to look at, ETFs, I know Easy Mike mentioned some foreign countries. We can try to point out a few of those as well. If you put those in the chat, we'll take a look at those. I do have one new one that Easy Mike asked us to look at, so we'll look at this new one first, and then anything in the chat that you guys want to look at. And welcome, Tony Roses. Thank you for joining us. Hope you're doing well. So let me grab a drink and we'll jump into that. Okay, so some people are asking for is EWA. I believe that's Australia. YCS is the short on the yen. Look at those in a sec. Don't let me forget. So first, let's look at this EVMT. This is a ETF that EVT Mike asked us to take a look at in the live chat of last week's part 2 of our weekly trading game plan. So we'll look at EVMT. This is an electric vehicles and metals commodity strategy, no K1 ETF. So no K1 means there isn't an income issue where they'll issue a K1 and you'll have unexpected income that you would have to pay taxes on. So sometimes that's popular. So I added that in our research sheet in our ETFs Google sheet. So if we jump over to the research tab, you can always find an ETF quickly by doing a Control F and then typing in the ticker. So here's this EVMT, again, electric vehicles, metals, commodity. So we can see the risk reward profile. We'll open up the FinViz profile on it and probably also in the ETFs database. So you see it hasn't had a lot of movement, 1.4. Support to resistance a little less. Bottom to top, 1.8. So again, not a whole lot of movement. Let's look at what it looks like in the profile in FinViz. Again, you can quickly find the profile links for these ETFs in our Google Sheet and the corresponding FinViz URL or ETF database URL. So I'll open it also in the ETF database. So we can see it looks like it's pretty choppy, somewhat. See what the liquidity. So average volume only 4K. So again, very lightly traded. Light volume, so it's choppy. It is optionable. It does pay a 5% dividend. So again, it looks like it reached that upper trend line, got rejected, just bouncing back down. Looks like it just broke down below the moving average. Again, EBs just kind of sentiment-wise, kind of out of favor right now. If we look at it longer term, it's been as low as about 16. Been as high, up in the 20, 28 or so. So again, trended up, rolled over. Looks like support from that longer term moving average. Looks like it's only been around since about 22 or so. Again, sentiment has been pretty negative on EVs in general. Looks like some turnaround, so not bad for a swing possibly. So batteries, lithium, cobalt are some of the tags they identify. So if we look at the composition in FinViz, we've got some nickel, aluminum, copper, cobalt. So a nice mixture of the materials that go into batteries, go into EVs. So I like that it's material based. So again, it doesn't matter which EV company is needs the batteries, what they need the batteries for, those commodities. And again, it looks like they bottomed and are swinging back up. Lithium prices had broken down significantly. So look at their definition: no K1, actively managed. Link to tradable metals in the production of EVs: iron, copper, aluminum, nickel, cobalt, lithium. So yeah, I like the basic concept. And again, it does look like it swung back up, just a slight correction. Looks like it's trending back up. So, got a decent amount of upside. Again, not a huge risk reward profile. We look at their definition in the ETF database. It's an active strategy, proprietary weighting scheme, metals. See what their holdings show in the ETF database. So not a whole lot of data there. So the FinBiz has a nice breakdown of their holdings. So that's pretty useful. So thank you again, Easy Mike, for sharing that with us. Again, you can follow the risk reward profiles, the price action, etc. Also, get access to these links in the research sheet in our ETF's Google sheet. So again, thank you again for sharing that with us, EBMT, Easy Mike, and we'll keep an eye on that. You asked about EWA. So again, you can find these if they're not in our main sheet. Do a find and then check the ETFs sheet as well as the research sheet. So this is a long on Australia. So we've got a couple longs on Australia. We've done a previous video comparing those two ETFs to long Australia. So you can see what the current risk reward profile looks like. Currently, kind of in the middle of their range. Not a whole lot of risk reward right now. So both of them. So again, kind of middle of the range for both of those guys. Not a whole lot of risk reward on either of those. But again, if you want to look at those in more detail, you can look at EWA just real quickly in FinViz. So it looks relatively high. Looks like it had a nice recovery. And, relatively high, kind of in the middle of its range there. Yeah, so again, kind of in the middle, relatively high, got a little bit of upside, a little bit of downside, so kind of a balanced risk reward. So again, not something I'd be jumping into right now. So we do have, a number of other countries. You can find a number of non-U.S. countries. We've got Brazil, Canada, Chinese ETFs, again, India, Indonesia, Japan, etc. So you can scroll through and look through all the variety of, non-U.S. ETFs, look at their risk-reward profiles, see if there's other opportunities. Philippines, we've covered a number of these. If people have other countries that we haven't, Vietnam, that we haven't covered in the past that you'd like us to take a look at, we could do that. And we've talked about most of the pairs for the technology, SARK and ARK, LabU, long, LabD, short, got Bitcoin, etc. China, yen and yang. I haven't seen the crow lately, but I know he does quite well trading yin and yang for China. S-Dow and U-Dow. I know Easy Mike mentioned he caught the top in the Dow, made some money. I don't know if you're still short the Dow or you flipped. EPV, we'll talk about Europe a little bit. EURL is the long on the FTSE Europe. EPV is the short on the FTSE Europe. We'll see EURL is close to its 52-week high. So again, we'll be talking more about EPV, the short on the FTSE Europe. Again, tomorrow, FANG-D is the short on the FANGs. FANG-U, the long on the FANGs. Again, you can see it's a little ways away from the top, but we saw that test of the double top roll over in the FANG. So we'll be talking about FANG-D as well. Easy Mike says short the Dow. Yeah. Gold, again, long. Again, the Crow, I know, has been making some good money scalping these. GDXU is the long on gold. GDXD is the short on gold. So again, short-term opportunities, and we're currently long GDXD, so we're currently short gold. We're also long ZSL, which is the short on silver. So again, you can make plenty of short-term opportunities, longing and shorting these volatile commodities. AGQ, long, ZSL or SSG short. Again, oil, gush long, drip short. Natural gas, oil long, cold short. We've also got single stock ETFs in our ETF Google sheet. So you can get leveraged ETFs on NVIDIA. We've got several of those, Tesla, etc. So again, if you're looking for a single stock ETF that you can maybe short in a retirement account, or you're looking for leveraged ETFs to long or short some of the single stocks, we've have a number of them, and we'll continue to add those that we find attractive. So again, you can do a find in our ETF Google sheet for all those. Plenty of volatility in the treasuries, so you can long and short the various time durations of treasuries. TBT is the essentially TLT short, TMF long. Again, we've got other time frames. Hamster 1, I believe, was talking about YCS, which is the short on the yen. So we saw that breakdown in the yen. So you can make good money in the past shorting. We're currently long YCL, waiting for that swing back up. So again, you can short-term trade the yen with YCL long, YCS short. Okay, I'll leave that open if anyone wants to look at other ETFs, but let's get to our topic for this week about making money trading in June of 2024. Let me grab a drink and we'll open up our seasonality chart, look at how the market typically performs in June. Then maybe we'll jump and see how we ended up in May as well. Okay, again, our strategy for this week is how to make money trading in June of 2024. As you can see, I've got the link to the article in Investopedia on the seasonality, best weeks, months, etc. to trade. And you can access this. This is the new chart that they have with a breakdown of since 1950, past 20 years, past 10 years, past 5 years. So if we look at how June performs in general, we can see in the past it was slightly negative, But in the near term, past 5 years, past 10 years, June's been a positive month. So typically, May has in the past 5 years been negative. In the past, it was slightly positive, and then we got that rebound in June, and then a stronger rebound into July, and then a drop off into August. So again, June tends to be a little bit better performing than May, less so than July. So again, in the past, they've had that sell in May and go away adage. Although again, you see, if you went away, you missed out on this strong rebound going into July. So, we've always said you can sell in May, make money selling, but then don't go away because you can make money on the rebound in June and July. So again, in general, we expect a positive June, and again with a strong upward trend into July. So hopefully we'll get a nice, swing going into June, July. So again, this is how the markets typically perform in June and July. So we'll see how June of 2024 performs relative to that traditional market performance. So you can also hear our previous discussions on, strategies for making money trading in June. Again, another graph, their older graph on from investing.com showing the performance, relative performance of June relative to other months, etc. Let me quickly see how May ended up performance-wise. So if I go to investing.com again, you can find links to the tools and resources we typically use in the links section on our homepage. Our homepage is beachbumtrading.com, bum without the U. And again, under the links section, you can find various trading tools and resources we use. So if we go back to investing.com, go to major indices, performance. So we'll see over the past month, pretty much all the indices have been positive. So again, the sell in May crowd seemed to have gone away. Looks like they made a brief return Friday morning, but then in general, we really didn't get that sell in May trend for June. We did, again, the past week, they were all slightly negative. So I guess, sell in May crowd did show up the last week of the month. But in general, May was generally positive. So again, that kind of bucks the trend of the past 5 years where May was typically somewhat negative. So again, bodes well, again, for this rebound into June and July. So again, I hope that all helps. And again, we have other short videos on how the stock markets typically perform in June, some of the best sectors and industries in the month of June, as well as in the spring in general. So you can hear all of those strategies and historical performance of the market and sectors and industries in June and in the spring via our the links in our video or in our notes. Again, the market's, pretty toppies, and we're seeing this sector rotation be the name of the game. Now, again, I still expect they're going to, buy the dip in the Mag 7 pretty aggressively. I think they're going to buy the dip in any dip in NVIDIA pretty aggressively. We still got AI FOMO. But again, I think there's plenty of opportunities for short-term traders to trade these sector rotations. We're again seeing some rotation within the tech sector as well. Enterprise software as a service is kind of on the downtrend right now, but AI FOMO, anything directly related to AI infrastructure, pretty positive. So that continues, again, mostly driven by NVIDIA. So again, tomorrow we'll also talk about dividend payers and several option strategies as additional ways to make money trading while we wait for our swing trading stocks to pick up. So let me check the chat and see if anyone has any last minute questions, topics you want to discuss, comments, etc. Okay, again, if anyone in the chat has any particular, if you want to look at any individual stocks, although we'll do that more tomorrow. If you have any ETFs or topics you want to discuss, please let me know. Also, we would love your feedback on what we can do to improve our weekly trading game plans, our videos, our tools, our automated systems, etc., to help add more value for all of our fellow BeachBum traders. I also welcome and encourage you to put your recommendations for improvement in the comments to any of our videos. Also in our Discord. Our Discord's free to join. You can find a link to the free invite to our Discord in the description box below. And again, we can continue these discussions and I can answer any questions you might have and look at any stocks you would like to look at. Again, tag us. We're BeachBum Trading, all lowercase, no other characters, numbers, etc. Looks like we've got one imposter right now. I'll have to clean up App and Ban after we finish here. So again, would love to have you in our Discord. And again, we can answer any questions. We've got a great community of people to help each other share trading ideas. Help each other make money trading, help you succeed in your trading career. So again, please join us in the Discord. Let us know what we can do to help add more value for all of our fellow BeachBum traders. Welcome, LinkedIn. Thank you for joining us. Sorry if I missed you earlier. So again, we hope you all come back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. 10 a.m. Eastern time on Sundays, where we'll take all of this analysis, all these trade ideas, trade strategies, and we'll be selecting our top swing trading stocks to watch, stocks in our bullpen, stocks in our shopping list. Again, we'll also look at dividend payers and several option strategies, all additional ways to generate income while we wait for our swing trading stocks to set up and be profitable. So again, we hope to see you all again tomorrow for part 2 of our weekly trading game plan. And thank you to everyone that participated in the chat. And we hope to see you also in our Discord. And again tomorrow. And thank you to everyone who's watching after the fact. So have a great rest of your Saturday. We'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great day.